everybody, welcome to BrickVault. My name is Mike and it is time for our another MOCs video. And don't mind the cups on the table, this is just Jack sorting parts for another cool MOC that we're gonna be posting soon. But for this week's MOCs I have the top 10 as usually, my favorite ones, from the least favorite to my most favorite. And we have some Star Wars, we have some cool cartoon stuff, and of course mechs. So let's get into it. And as always guys, all the links to those cool creations can be found in the video description below. At the end of the video I'm gonna be showing your MOCs, so stick around to check those out. If you want to submit more MOCs or some new ones, be sure to use this email and the rules that are listed below. And for number 10 this week we are starting in a cartoony style, that is the King Triton and Princess Ariel by LEGO 7. That is a very well-known designer to us, we've seen his builds a number of times, and this time around he also does not disappoint. We have a great build using a lot of LEGO factory parts and a lot of technique to recreate those iconic cartoon characters. They look amazing, quite easily recognizable at the first look. I like the build for those simple Ariel hair that are floating in the water, but what's really awesome is the build for the Triton. The massive King of Sea is highly intimidating. We can see that he is holding his iconic trident, and I especially love the build for his beard. The tail is shaped using the balloon pieces. That is also such a great use of piece that I'm simply astonished how LEGO 7 is coming up with those ideas. That is definitely quite a strong start for our this week's list. And you guys of course know that I love mechs, and that being said, number 9 is a mech, but this time around it's somewhat different than the previous ones we used to have. This is called the Roadrunner by BobDeQuatre. If right now the picture in your mind is the Roadrunner from the Willy the Coyote cartoons, that is pretty much right, because the mech looks like it can run really fast. This is a simple build, but I found the shaping to be really awesome. I'm not sure, just the color combo of red and white along with those beautiful curves works great for me. Same goes for the leg build and the massive engine that makes this thing go as fast as it's supposed to. The cockpit holds one pilot, and I love the fact that they use those light decals from one of the rally car sets from the city line. Pretty awesome looks for such a simple build. Number 8 is also maybe a mech or something else, I'm not sure, but this is very wacky build. It's called the Duplo-bot by nobu-tary. And the cool thing about this one is the color combination, of course, the use of Duplo and Lego pieces at the same time. The weaponry is also wacky, he seems to be using a water gun. There is also a lot of toy-alike equipment, but I still would be quite afraid. This cute little guy also holds a jetpack. That is a great use of those Rocket Boy costume pieces that we have seen in the minifigure collectible series. And of course it would not be complete if it wasn't hosting the pilot. That's right, it opens up and their pilot is right there inside. I'm quite glad that I found this one because I wanted to have a wacky build in this list, and this one pretty much fills the spot. And things get a bit more serious with number 7, that is the Nemesis, a spaceship by Space Hopper. Now let me just mark that this might be a render, but still it looks amazing and looks like a buildable set. I especially like the sleek shape and somewhat unique cockpit positioning, making it a very nice vessel that I would love to see in any sci-fi series. You can also see that some of the renders are showing the ship in a darker light, with the use of nice light sources to illuminate different parts of the ship. I'm a big fan of nice shaping for sci-fi vessels, and this one pretty much hits my category well, and that is pretty much the main reason it made up to the list. And number 6 is going to be quite familiar to all of you, that is the Star Destroyer over Jedha City. The designer is no one else but Marshal, my favorite LEGO Star Wars designer so far. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, you should check out his Millennium Falcon, the best one I've ever seen. But anyway, this build is somewhat of a midi-scale or even mini-scale build for a Star Destroyer, this menacing view that we have seen over Jedha City in Rogue One. And not only this is an excellent build for this small vignette, but also the designer was able to take great pictures showcasing this very iconic scene from the movie when Kaslan, Jin and K2SO are seeing the massive ship hovering above the city. That is an excellent scene. However, Marshal used the design for the hull for the Star Destroyer from a different designer, the BrickVault. That is a massive credit towards him, but the idea for this scene goes to Marshal. I am really thinking about picking this project and getting this guy onto my desk. Moving up the list, number 5 for this week is a modular building. This is simply called George Lives by Allencat. And this is a beautiful, quite massive modular building. I think the size of the base plate is the same as for Assembly Square, that is 48 by 32. And on this surface we have two multiple story buildings with amazing detailing on both of them, and the build is actually detailed from all sides. We even have a small garden in between the buildings, right between the middle floors. And there is even a Fabland minifig sitting on one of the buildings that may be the titled George. As a big fan of modular buildings in our LEGO city, I would love to see this one added as well, and several reasons being that not only it looks great from all sides, but it actually opens up from the back and we have a fully flushed out interior on every floor. The level of detail for both interiors and even the facades of the buildings is incredible, and there is even a somewhat of a mural on one of the sides. I'm not sure what this refers to, but maybe you guys can guess. Nowadays, especially after the unveiling of the Ninjago city set, I'm a big fan of highly detailed modulars, and this one hits the spot. Number 4 for this week is also a building, but quite a different in form and style. That is the Laurent house by Chris Eyerly. The original Laurent house is a historical building located in Illinois, USA, and well, it has quite a history behind it, as it was originally designed for Kenneth Laurent, a disabled World War II veteran. Currently, the house is a public historical spot being run by a non-profit organization, and the Lego build made by Chris commemorating this beautiful place is of such quality that it should actually stand there as a display piece. The first thing that we see is that Chris used a lot of those brick bending techniques for achieving those arcs on the walls and some roof pieces, so that 2x1 studs are slightly moved against each other so they create an arc, and the effect is simply astonishing. This is a great example of a very minimalistic build at first look, but if you look closer, the thing is a great design. I am not sure how many pieces are used here, but if those are most 2x1 plates, the number could be really high. I'm not sure if there are interiors included, but even though this still looks great from the outside. A smashing piece of Lego building, and I think that the original Laurent house foundation should contact Chris to maybe display this thing at their spot. But enough with the buildings for this week's episode. Number 3 is a car, and quite a cool one. That is the ice cream truck by Firas Abu Jaber. Now, this designer is known for exceptional designs for cars, and this one is no different, as we are getting somewhat of a great crazy alternation of the Volkswagen Boss. This ice cream truck in somewhat of a hot rod / drifting style has plenty of awesome details and color combos, along with a set of stickers that make it highly unique, plus of course a detailed interior and a number of playable functions. That is a great take on this classic set, and the touch of craziness is adding a lot of flavor to those ice creams, I have to say. Some may say that it may look like a Friends set with all those pinky and bluey and greeny colors, but for me it is just a very vibrant ice cream truck that can probably go like 200 miles per hour. Great set, especially with the addition of somewhat customized chrome rims for the wheels, but I'm still asking myself, why isn't Lego including those with actual sets? They just look so good. You can disassemble the whole thing in a very fashionable and very easy way, so I think the whole vehicle has all aspects of being a really good official Lego set. And of course, if you want to see more of a very cool Lego car designs, be sure to check out the designer's Flickr page. He has a ton of amazing stuff. Remember when I said that there are no more buildings for this week's video? Well, I lied, because number 2 is Hogwarts Castle by Etel Enzos. And I should probably say it in a more epic voice, because the castle is truly epic, with a very acceptable scale. I mean, the build is not too big, yet not too small. It has everything it needs for a proper Hogwarts Castle, and that includes simply astonishing interiors with a great use of lights. So that way, every chamber, every room has its own set of lights, including the bottom parts of the castle that have a blue light theme, showcasing those somewhat of a darker rooms from the Harry Potter theme, like Snape's potion room or the mirror room. But also above the ground floor we have a number of very known locations, including the famous staircase with moving paintings, the main hall, there is even the secret training room, and even maybe the Gryffindor's dormitories. Great looking set with an astonishing number of Easter eggs for all Lego Harry Potter fans, including myself. The recreation of various scenes is simply amazing, and I'm at the same time glad and sad that I discovered it, because now I want one myself. And I guess you will be somewhat surprised what took the number 1 spot this week, because not many people like that theme, but number 1 is Rainbow Dash by Andrew Harvey, and that's right, that's the pony from My Little Pony. But even though I do not watch the show and I am not a big fan of it, I have to give proper credit for this brilliant build. And by brilliant, I'm saying that the designer Andrew put a lot of effort into it, starting from the sketches to digital models, making the thing scaled perfectly to the actual character from the show. And then he didn't stop there, because he already had the perfect LDD file, but then he went on to building this, and the result is simply amazing. This is of course a LEGO convention level build, and it actually will be showcased at Bricktastic show in Manchester, UK this weekend as we speak, and I think it is totally worth it. It doesn't look too complicated for what it is, but if you really look closely behind the work that was done to make this thing happen, you will appreciate this creation as much as I do. The designer even overlapped the picture of the real character from the cartoon show over his creation, and the proportions are perfect. I am pretty sure that this is a model that every fan of the show would love to have in his collection for just showing off. Alright, and here are the top 10 MOCs once again for this week. I think that is a pretty strong week because I honestly had like 17 creations to choose from and I had to choose 10 of them. So that was a great week for LEGO MOC builders, and now is the time to show off your creations that you have sent to our fan MOCs email. Remember, you can always submit new creations every week. The rules and the email to that can again be found in the description below. So without too much more talking, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe. My name is Mike. I'll see you again on BrickVault, and here are your MOCs.